Hello students. Today we are going to learn about the sixth element of art, space. With a few steps you can learn how to make your drawings appear close, far away, and stand out with fun details. Let's begin. Here are the supplies. You will need paper for our drawing lesson about space, and a pencil. For your artwork, you will need cardstock, a drawing pencil, a black marker, a good eraser, coloring pencils, and a pencil sharpener. Space is the area around, inside, or between shapes and forms. There are a lot of ways to show how we have space in our artwork. Here, I will show you 5 ways your artwork can have space. First, draw a circle. Then lightly draw another circle connected to it like this. Erase the line of the second circle that is inside the first circle. Repeat this step again, connecting a third circle with the second one. Now let's shade in the first circle and make it really dark. The second one a little lighter, and then we'll leave the third one white. See how the circles look like there is one in front of the other? We are going to call this overlapping. Next, draw a horizontal line where I am. Now I'm going to draw circles in random areas, one far below the line, a couple near the line, and one right on top of the line. With a little bit of shading at the bottom of each circle, it looks like light is shining on top of the circles laying on the floor. Do you see? This technique is called shading and placement. The circle far below the line looks closer to us, whereas the circle on the line looks farther away because it is on the horizontal line. I'm going to draw another horizontal line, and at the corner, I'm going to draw a diagonal wavy line. Next to the diagonal wavy line, I'm going to draw another one, drawing very close to that first wavy line, then further away from it. Let's draw a big circle where the 2 wavy lines are furthest away from one another. Now draw circles as I am here. Notice I am drawing them smaller and smaller as I get closer to the top of the horizon. Now let's add some shading. Size plays a big role in the space of your artwork. The larger the circle is in the drawing, the closer it seems. The smaller it is towards the horizon, the further away it will look in your art. This is called size and perception. I want to draw a sun up close. Let's pretend this square is the size of my paper. To make the sun look closer, I am going to have the circle drawn from the corner and take up most of the space. Now I am going to draw the sun rays like this. Notice the circle and none of the rays are complete. The circle and the rays look as though they are continuing off of the page. Drawing lines off of the page makes our images continue off of the paper, and we complete the image with our imagination. Finally, let's talk about positive and negative space. In this square, draw a flower with me. Everywhere we drew, we call this positive space. The area around it where we did not draw is called negative space. We are going to focus on these steps as we create our artwork today. Pause the video here to gather your cardstock, black marker, coloring pencils, and other materials you will need to draw your artwork with me, then press play. For today's art project, we are going to draw a winter landscape filled with snowy pine trees, mountains, and blue sky. Follow along with me, but remember, this is going to be your drawing. Make it your own. Today's landscape is going to focus on 3 parts to show space. The foreground, where the images in the piece will be closest to us. The middle ground, the area where we see from far away like mountains and hills. And then the background, the furthest layer of our landscape behind the trees and the mountains. First, I drew half of a pine tree off of one side of my paper. Notice how the tree is almost the full height of the page. I like to draw my pine trees with diagonal lines and then tiny wavy lines across. Then I drew the tree trunk at the bottom like so. I overlap the tree by drawing a slightly smaller tree behind it. Now go to the other side of your paper and let's do the same thing. Draw part of a pine tree, making it look like the rest of the tree is off of the page. Draw lightly in case you need to redo an area. But know that there are no mistakes. This is your masterpiece. Connect the bottom of your pine trees a couple inches from the bottom of the paper with a wavy horizontal line like I do here. Now the trees look like they are standing on top of snowy ground. This is the foundation of our foreground. Now let's draw our mountains. We are lucky where we live. We get to see snowy mountains all the time. Have you ever noticed they look like rough triangles? That's what I started to draw. Imperfect shaped triangles with jagged lines. I just lightly wave my pencil up at the top at a diagonal and then down, making sure none of the lines were perfectly straight. For your mountains, imperfect is perfect. I drew wavy lines across the top of the mountains to make it look as though snow fell on top of them. Drawing mini wavy lines with snow on top of them in the middle of your mountains makes them look more realistic. I also did a bit of overlapping by drawing some mountains behind. Then I went back to my trees, added a couple more and thought, this is in the snowy forest, so let's add some snow to the pine trees. To add snow to the trees, I added wavy lines at the bottom of each point I saw on my trees from the top and the sides, just as I did on the mountains. Everywhere you see me drawing right here is where the snow has fallen on the trees. Just make wavy, long, organic shapes that start at the outline of your trees and go towards the middle to make it look like snow has fallen at the tip of the pine needles. Drawing a tiny tree on top of the wavy horizon of snow makes it look like this tree is far away from the other trees that are up close. Now I'm going to work on the background of my piece, the sky. Draw a little circle in the corner. This can be your sun or moon. Now let's draw some fluffy clouds. I like to draw half-circle shapes on the top of my clouds, and then at the bottom, I like to make long horizontal lines. Then I connect it all together. This makes it look like the cloud is moving with the wind. Overlap by drawing some of your clouds behind the mountains. I had room in the middle of my landscape in my foreground, so I decided to draw a pathway like we did with our lesson on size and perception. Draw a wavy line at a slight diagonal down the center, like this. Then draw a second wavy line starting close and then further away. To make the pathway look long and far away from a distance, I shaded where the two wavy lines were closest to the horizon, and then made lighter, longer, shaded horizontal lines the closer I drew towards the bottom of the page. Now it looks like the pathway is going towards the mountains. Here's the sketch of my wintry landscape. Once you are finished with your sketch, begin outlining everywhere you drew, as I'm about to here with black marker. Take your time and outline lightly. Once you are finished going over everything in black marker, erase your pencil markings. Here is your outline. Now let's have some fun and color our wintry scene. I enjoy mixing colors. In my color pencil set, I had 2 shades of green, so I colored my pine trees both with a dark and light green shade. Try your best to color around the white snowy areas. If you accidentally add color where the snow is, that's okay. Just take your eraser and erase it away. If you can still see some color, take a white pencil and color the snow white. When I colored in the mountains, I outlined the bottom of the snowy cliffs with a pale blue pencil. Then I lightly colored my mountains with gray and pale blue tones, just like the mountains where we live. To give the clouds shadow, I took the color I used for the sky and outlined the outside bottom of each cloud with that shade of blue to make it look like it's casting a shadow over the mountains and the trees. When you are finished, do not forget to sign your work and date it on the back. And here is my winter landscape. How did yours turn out? If you want to add more to your piece, you can add forest animals from far away on top of the mountains or up close near the pine trees. You can add birds in the clouds. Just make sure that they are the right size if you want your objects close or far away. I hope I get to see some of your artwork. Send them to me if you can. Until next time, take care and stay creative.